Hi there, my name is Ash Shukla and I like to say Namaste and welcome to Ash TV. And today we are going to talk about spirituality at work. My friends, many times we go to work, whether you're working a regular job or you're running a business, on a day-to-day operations, as you are working really hard and trying to grow your business or get promotion at work, you are getting done whatever that you feel as needs to get done. And you're doing whatever it takes to make it work. But what ends up happening, during this time when you're trying to grow, at the end of the day, we all get caught up into day-to-day things, and then we run into conflicts. Conflicts of time management, or conflicts of people, or conflicts of projects, right? Whatever that may be, you're running into. So if you're a business owner, you're perhaps running into a conflict of doing so many things at once, and that maybe that's a problem for you. And it is a problem for many people. So one of the things I was thinking about is what can we do as human beings to solve this issue? And I thought, what a great way to talk about some things that we do. I'm from India. I came here in 1989, and basically, as Indians, one of the things that we do is we have a spiritual room or prayer room in the house, and whether it's a room or a space that we keep for prayers. Now the reason we do that is because every morning we believe that when you go to bed at night, there are a lot of things that we take to bed. Basically, all the negative thoughts, all the negative things, and so forth, that we take to bed, and then we sweat at night, and all the bugs that get on us. And to cleanse ourselves early in the morning, you take a shower, right? So when you take a shower, you're cleansing not only your body, but you are beginning to cleanse your mind. Now, to even cleanse your spiritual space or your aura around you is important, because every morning when you wake up, and if you are the kind of person who likes to take showers and really clean yourself, why not also clean your aura? Because that helps quite a bit. So the clean the aura, what in Hinduism, what we do, pretty much all Indians or Hindus, if you will, at least what we do is we go to the space where we have our gods, represented, or spiritual space that you may or may not create. But if you create a spiritual space in your house, it might help. So step number one is, let's begin the spirituality from home. Because they say charity begins at home, and so does spirituality. Because when you have the spiritual space, whether it's a room or a space that you hold in your house, now you can go there and concentrate on all the positive things and bring in the auras that are necessary. Now, some people do this in many different ways, right? Is a spiritual room like this is only the answer? No, you can do it many other ways. You can bring, positivity, by, some people do it by working out. Some people by doing yoga. Some people do it with meditation. And some people do it with simple instruments, like, go to gods and pray to them and say, thank you so much for helping me out. Thank you so much for bringing all the things that I ever wanted. You can do this for a minute, for 10 minutes, for an hour. Some people will do it for 2 or 3 hours. It just depends on your faith and your belief. But many of the religious leaders, if you will, whether it's Pope, all the popes pretty much, or all the saints, or monks right around the world, do one thing in common. And what they do is that they hold rosary beads. All of them. The question is why, right? They're actually very smart people, and the question is, why do they hold rosary beads? Well, there's a story that goes behind that. And the story goes like this. One time there was a guy who wanted to achieve everything in life, but he had nothing, and he was completely broke. And he's like, well, now what do? I need something. So one day he was going around and he found a lamp, and he basically rubbed on it and came out genie. And genie says, ha ha, I'm here, and as a genie I get to give you whatever you wish for. The only condition is you have to keep asking me for more things, and I have to keep providing that to you. That's the condition. And do you accept me as your genie? The guy says, wow, I can accomplish anything I want. I can have everything I want. Yes, I want you, my friend. You are my genie. You are my best buddy from now on. So he goes ahead and accepts this genie. And when a genie comes into his life, he says, I want a house. I want a car. I want luxurious things. And then he goes into asking for the universe, and he gets the entire universe to himself, and he goes, wow, I am like on the clouds right now. I am making it big. Well, there's only one problem. Genie says, well, Mr. So-and-so, you have to ask for more things. And he's like, wait, I don't have anything to ask you. What am I going to ask you for anymore? That was the question. So he says, okay, now what do I do? So he goes to Himalayan mountain, meets a rishi or a guru, if you will, and he asks this wise person, say, hey, see that guy outside, his name is Genie, and he's asking me for more things. But the problem is, I already have everything I ever wanted. What can I ask him for more? So he says, well, the guru says, well, why don't you go outside and tell Genie to go up and down on 108-foot pole, 108 foot above the ground, 108 foot under the ground, and he has to go up and down that pole for the rest of his life. The reason being, he said, is because it will help you get into the calm state. So that genie that we are talking about is actually your mind. And when your mind is not in the right state, your mind will give you whatever you ask for. It will push you on the limits of whatever you want to accomplish. The only way to calm it down, one of the ways to calm it down is meditation. But one of the best ways to do simplest meditations is through rosary beads. You can literally take this and just, concentrate on whatever you want. You can concentrate on God. You can concentrate on your goals. You can concentrate on anything that you want. So you begin your prayers at home or your spirituality at home. Then you take the same thing to work. So maybe you have a small space at work that you can create, or maybe you have something in your wallet, right? So if you don't want to display it to everybody, okay, you can do it that way, be spiritual that way. Maybe if somebody comes up to you and says something and you get really mad and you have that tendency and you really need to just get something out, right? You just want to get somebody, that kind of thing. If that's the case, then maybe, you develop a ritual called push-ups. Maybe every time somebody gets you mad, maybe you do a push-up or two, right? Just to get that adrenaline out of the way. Maybe that's your spiritual being, if you will, okay? But whatever that may be, whatever you apply, just apply consistently so you can bring positivity in your life and repel the negativity out of your life. See, as you do this more and more, and you are really just getting into the rhythm, right? The other big thing I always find in a work situation or in a business situation, so step number 2. So step number 1 is cleanse yourself at home. Make sure you are have a spiritual ritual that you are following to be spiritual, if you will, so you can begin the process at home. Then you take the same thing at work. That's step number 2, is take the same thing at work, okay? Or even better things at work. For that matter, just be more positive. Maybe smile a little more, right? Some people are just literally, frowning all the time. Maybe smiling might maybe just help. But the thing is, in the second step, make sure, right? And in the last step that I'm going to give you is the third step, step number 3. What you should do is that begin to say no. Or begin to say, okay, let me prioritize this in the proper way. Because what happens to us as human beings, if you're a giving type of a human being, what ends up happening is you always give, and you give too much, and at the end you feel like, oh my God, like what just happened when I just gave out everything, and I have no more energy left, right? At the end of the day, you have no more reserves left in your account. So what happens is when there's no reserves, you feel guilty, you feel bad, you feel angry. You're like, oh my God, like, why did I do that to myself at the end of the day? So you begin to feel those emotions inside you, and then you begin to self-sabotage. So if you just begin to pause yourself and either say no, because if you say no to the things that you hate to do, right, you'll begin to attract the things, and you will bring the things only that you love to do. So if you, let me repeat myself. If you say no to the things you hate to do, you attract the things that you love to do. So, my friend, with that in mind, so maybe do that, right? Or maybe you if your boss comes up to you and gives you a big project, you can't really just say no, right? Because you might get fired. Let's not do that. So what you do is that you literally take a look at a timeline or a project and say, okay, what is realistic, and be honest with your boss. And they might appreciate the honesty. Okay, and so with that in mind, they'll just put you at ease. It'll put you at calm state of mind and really just help you out. My friends, listen, I know that I went through a lot today. Okay, just make sure you follow a simple step of being spiritual at home first. Then number 2, be spiritual at work. take that same methodology to work. So that way, if somebody gets you mad or somebody gets you angry or something it really ticks you off at work, or if you're a business owner, of course, you are dealing with a client or something of that nature, whatever that is that ticks you off during the day, you can bring yourself back down. And last but not least, don't overtake things that you cannot do. To keep yourself sane and make sure that you have linear thought process to get things done, meaning you only pick up next thing once you finish up the first thing. Meaning, let me repeat, you have a linear thought process, last but not least, where you only pick up the next thing when you pick up the first thing. So when you do that, you are now accomplishing things and you're building momentum of positive attitude and positive thought processes and positive work ethic and it's a positive momentum all the way. With that in mind, my name is Ash Shukla and thank you so much for watching Ash TV. Be sure to share this video on social media and make sure to share it with your best friends. Namaste and thank you for watching Ash TV.